One of the things I learned joining the EGA, and one of my tips is about gold work. When you're doing gold work, very often you have to couch down these very delicate threads. You can't sew with them because the gold wrapping around the core would come loose and get all broken. So you end up with these tails that have to be sunk to the bottom in order to be whip stitched securely. There's a lot of ways of sinking these tails, and one of my favorite ways I learned in a class, and it's using a big giant needle with a big eye. This happens to be a number 13 or 14 chenille. They're getting really hard to find. So you can also use a tapestry, which of course has a more blunt end, but you can use a tapestry needle. You can see the size of this giant eye. So the trick is that you're going to sink this needle into the fabric until the eye is halfway in and out, and it creates a tunnel. So you're going to sink your tails down through the tunnel of the needle. So let me show you how I do it. Where you want the threads to be sunk, you just make a hole slowly. You don't want to rip the fibers of the fabric. So you slowly sink the needle down. I'm going to pull from underneath, down into the fabric until the eye is halfway in and halfway out of the fabric. So now you've created a giant tunnel through which you can run your threads that have to be sunk. So I'm going to use a pair of tweezers. You can use your fingers if you want. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers because it'll make it clearer. And I'm going to just aim my thread down into the tunnel and pull it through with my other hand. So there's one sunk. Very often you work with these in pairs. So I'm going to sink the other one down through the same hole. Grab it a little bit higher up. And just keep working it down until you can see enough at the bottom to pull through the tunnel. So now both of those threads have been sunk, and then you just carefully pull the needle the rest of the way through. And I use the tip of the needle to mend the hole. Just push the threads back into place. And there you are.